Hey everybody. So I just did my weight loss video. It was a bit rambly. I would say if you're like me and you don't really have anything to do, or I'm not saying that right. Let's say you have something to do, but you kind of want something playing in the background. If you pick my weight loss journey video to play in the background, I'll love you forever. And obviously like and subscribe and everything. And if you're already subscribed, you're a real one. Thank you. I have this lipstick I want to try. I'm in the mood to try, by Milani. Okay, and it's called, what is this called? Role Play 150. So this was on sale at my H-E-B for, and me just telling you about H-E-B, if you're from Texas, you know where I am. Anyway, but yeah, this was in clearance, so let me see what it looks like. It's okay. I'm not wearing makeup right now except lip gloss. I had lip gloss on. That's it. Because I just washed my face. So this is what my bare skin looks like. Old millennial. Give me credit. Old millennial. I'm supposed to be looking over here. I'm so used to looking away from the camera because I'm used to looking this way. But yeah. Okay. So I just wanted to try that on. I also got Revlon Longwear. So I saw number 400 and 410 that were on special. And I showed it to my partner and I was like, which one do you think matches my skin? And the best, you know? And he said, I think this one does. And this is the darker one. I'm not going to put it on right now because, oh, is it sealed? Love it. Okay, I'm here for it. 410 Cappuccino. Okay, I did not know this was Cappuccino. That's the color. And this was on special. Where's the sticker? It was $4. It was like $3 and something, like $3.97. I got this Wet n Wild eyeliner. I'm not putting these on today. The only one I was willing to put on is the lipstick because I already have a lip gloss. But the Wet n Wild eyeliner in Voltage Blue. My usual eyeliners are Tarte's eyeliner. I forget the like the name of it, but it's a liquid eyeliner by Tarte. It's a double-ended liquid eyeliner. One side is a smudge pencil, I think, and the other one is liquid. I've never used the smudge pencil. I like liquid eyeliner. And I also like Stila's Intense Black eyeliner. But yeah, I decided to try this blue just to kind of play around again. Haven't used it. This was only like $3. And this brand is infamous for being for white soccer moms. It's called Physicians Formula. And this is an eyeshadow palette in Butter Believe It, Bronzed Nudes. And it was only $4.50 from a starting price of $8.98. That's not bad. Let me see. Made in China. I'm not really big on made in China stuff, but that's everything, isn't it? But I'm going to hope for the best. And the reason why I don't like made in China stuff is because there's been so many cases of contamination with American, you know, goods or whatever that are made over there. Where's this made? Made in the U.S. This Milani. Okay, but, and where did this say? Did I see? Made in Mexico, okay. Anyway, but yeah, there's been so many contamination issues with made in China products. That's why, you know, I'm funny about that. And they knew that there were people like me who felt that way. And for the record, this is no knock on people from China in any way, shape, or form. It's nothing like that. It's because of the contamination issues, like, you know, that made me not want the made in China products, you know. Anyhow, that is neither here nor there. I'm trying to brush my hair. So I have kind of fluffy hair. Like my hair is so, I don't know, like what do you call it? What do you call my hair? If you know what you call my hair, please tell me. Okay, because I do not know what you call my hair. My hair is so weird. I feel like my hair is really weird. Okay, I'm fluffing it into a fro. Look at me. Oh my gosh. Anyway, okay, so we are 5 minutes and 30 seconds in. If I were a viewer, I would be like, okay, bitch, you gonna talk about what you gonna talk about or what, you know? So, this channel was mostly meant to be a personal diary for myself, but over the years, I've had so many things on my mind. My hair is so... Ooh. You go, girl. Okay, my hair is so weird. Why is my hair so weird? Anyway. Oh, God. Anyway, so over the years, I've had like all these opinions about celebrities and men and women's issues and things of that nature that I've wanted to talk about, and I don't think I've talked about it as much as I would like, you know, because I mostly like focused on my weight loss journey or whatever. I used to have a podcast, kind of, sort of. I don't know if I'd say I had it, you know, but I was one of the founding partners on this one podcast, and it didn't end up working out. It's okay. But while I was there, I was very proud of my work, and I was also proud of the work that was done in period, you know, in general. It kind of motivated me that I want to do that here. I want to talk about different topics here. So, can we talk about Will and Jada? Now, okay, is it just me, ladies? And I'm assuming it's mostly going to be women watching my channel, all things considered, but is it just me, or does anyone else's skin crawl when people trash Jada Pinkett Smith for so-called cheating on Will? Now, I understand, disclaimer, these are celebrities. I don't know what really goes on behind the scenes, neither do you. Even if you know these people personally, that doesn't mean that you know 100% of their story. And let's be honest, most of us do not know them personally, period, anyway. But I'm just saying, from my optics, from what I've seen, I want to comment on certain celebrity stories, okay? So hope you can bear with me. So, Jada. What is my opinion on Jada Pinkett Smith? My initial opinion on her, first off, you know, I'm an old millennial. I remember her from the 90s on A Different World. That was my show. I remember her from movies like Jason's Lyric, which I used to love that movie. I haven't seen it in many, many years, but I used to love that movie and so on. You know, and I always thought she was a pretty girl. With the little hazel eyes and stuff, and black people go crazy over what we call pretty eyes, basically eyes that are not brown or black. We lose our minds. We don't know how to take it. And it's sad truth in our community related to colorism and everything. But that being said, so about Jada Pinkett Smith is that I always thought she was a pretty girl with or without her hazel eyes, but you know, the hazel eyes just added like a little spice to her or whatever. And, but she always seemed like she kind of had an attitude. Like she would usually play the bitch role. And I think people have seen her play the bitch role so much, the cold ice queen bitch role, okay, so much that they associate that with being her, which is so messed up, but that's how it is. I mean, it's like if you are someone who you're silly on screen. I've heard that Steve Martin, the comedian Steve Martin from that Murders in a Hotel or whatever that show is called, that's got Selena Gomez and Steve Martin Short. Is that his name? Why did I want to call him Steve? I think his name is Martin Short. So Steve Martin Short, I think, are on that show with Selena Gomez. Anyway, whatever the show is, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. I think it's on Hulu or something. I'm not sure. Whatever the show is, you know, Steve Martin is like famous for being a comedian. Supposedly, according to Kathy Griffin, at least, he's like a super serious dude in real life. So, like what you see is not necessarily what you get. But I do think that because Jada almost always went for that type of role, then people typecast her. Off the top of my head, the one role that I can think of with Jada in it where she didn't come across as bitchy in any way, where she was like the sweet girl, was in The Nutty Professor, the first one. So there you go. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, where am I going with this? Let's see. Oh, Jada. So I was one of those people, though, to be fair, that I kind of thought that she was a lot colder than she was. I would see some red table talks with her, and I felt like it gave me the opportunity to get to know her better. And again, I'm going to say this against public opinion, or at least vocal public opinion. I started to like her more. I just felt like she was like very deep, very thoughtful, that she, I don't know how to explain it, but, she seemed more sincere than a lot of celebrities, in my opinion. So I mean, I wasn't in love with her, but I thought she was pretty cool, whatever. Then the August Alsina, I think his name is, a guy who I'd never heard of until all this happened. He was getting press for allegedly, if I got the story right, doing a song where he's dedicating it to Jada, but he doesn't say that, but people figured it out. And then he was being questioned about it, and he finally spilled the beans and acknowledged, yeah, Jada and I had a relationship or whatever. Well, up until that point, everybody thought that Will and Jada were a couple. Now, I have not read her book yet, and that is definitely on my to-do list. So let's just clear that up. I have read Will Smith's book. I love it. It's actually one of my favorites. I'm not like obsessed with that couple in any way. It's nothing like that. But I mean, I'm just talking about like, things that have been in the public light, whatever. So, about the entanglement. Okay, so she said, or it got out that she was going to confront the rumors on her show that was coming out on a regular basis called Red Table Talk. And everybody just presumed she would do what most people do, which is deny, deny, deny. And it would have just been his word against hers. Unless she came out with some evidence, it would have just been, his word against hers. And I'm sure most people would probably have sided with her over him, and so that would have been it. Well, she actually surprised everybody, in my opinion, because she acknowledged, yes, I had a relationship with him. And she didn't know a delicate way to put it seems, so she referred to it as an entanglement, okay? Because she didn't know a delicate way to put it. Well, as I understand it, going only by the Red Table Talk, not talking about the book that she wrote. So I'm leaving the book she wrote out of the equation. I'm only talking about Red Table Talk. The impression that Will gave is that they were separated at the time. They were separated at the time. Now, before this had even happened, I believe the show, if I'm not much mistaken, it was either one of two shows. So forgive me who I get this wrong or right with. It was either the Impressive channel, which I love, or Impressive with an E, if I'm not much mistaken, or it was Chronicle Speaks. It was one or the other. I want to say maybe it was Impressive, but I'm not sure, if I'm not much mistaken, and forgive me if I'm mistaken. One of them had put out a video about Will Smith being involved with this, I believe, model before the entanglement thing even came up, before the August Alsina, all that even came up. There was a story on it because Will would always be where this woman was, or this woman would be where Will was, and they linked it as they were having a relationship. He'd also been accused of having a relationship with other women. They were talking about Gabrielle Union, that there was like hinting about that. And I can say for sure that they had claimed that he was dating Barbie. I forget her name. I'm sorry, you guys. But the one who played Barbie, you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, they claim she was... I forget her name. I'm sorry. I haven't seen a single thing she's acted in. I'm sorry. And that's no offense to her. I just haven't watched anything that she's acted in, including as Harlequin. I saw like little clips. I never watched it. So, Harley Quinn, whatever. Anyway, but they claim that he was involved with her as well, and there were some pictures of with them that looked kind of like Polaroidy, where they're like look like they're together, and she's like lifting up her shirt or something, and it just what I mean, whatever. And they look cozy, like they were messing around. Anyway, so Will didn't seem like this, cuckold, like they were trying, cuckold, whatever, however you pronounce it, like they were trying to make him out to be at all. And this stuff was out there before the August thing, but people have this thing where when a woman does it, it's worse. And I've looked it up, because I tried to understand. I'm like, why are men like that? Where when we're unfaithful, it's way worse than when they're unfaithful in their minds, right? That's been my experience. And I'm just like, why are men that way? And what I read, and this seems to make sense, is that when you have a baby with a man, unless the baby comes out looking exactly like him, then technically anybody can be that child's father. I mean, not literally, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like you can't say 100% that man is the father. Whereas with a woman, obviously we're the mother, like whatever. So, that reminds me of when we were doing the birth certificate, in the hospital for my daughter, or like the acknowledgement of birth or whatever it was. And the birth certificate, because you have to like say who the parents, all that. And the woman was like, do you affirm this information or whatever, something along those lines about, and I said something to her, I forget like exactly what she said, but basically, making sure what I put down was accurate. And I'm like, yes, I'm her mother. And she's like, we know you're her mother. You gave birth in the hospital. We're talking about who the father is or something. I forget how she said it, but it was like a funny moment, like, you get what I'm saying. So I get it from that standpoint, but even when it's like very obvious who the father is, like that man couldn't deny that child if he wanted to, or if the woman is at an age in which she's unlikely to produce any more children, or she can even be fixed, whatever, just incapable of carrying a child. So, whatever, men are still that way regardless. So I'm like, like Jada Pinkett, who's she getting pregnant by? And the children she has with Will, those children look 150% like both of their parents, and especially like Will. So there's no way that those kids are not Will's. So it's just funny, like how men are just so obsessed for when women do it. Again, I mean, I understand like if the baby is a little ambiguous looking, it's like, or the baby looks like their mother. But when the baby looks that much like the father, and or there's no chance of pregnancy or whatever, I'm just saying that men act the exact same way regardless, Anyway, so long story short, I'm Team Jada on the entanglement issue. No, I mean, not that I think what she did was right, but I don't think it was as wrong as what people make it out to be, like trying to make it out like Will Smith is just, like jerking off in the corner crying and, like Jada or something. And I think what added to it was the Oscar slap, of course, like, keep my wife's name out of your MFing mouth. As far as how I felt about that, adding to that, how I felt. So anyway, long story short, I feel like people unfairly judged Jada. That's one, per the entanglement, because they appeared to be separated according to Will at the time, and nobody heard that they were separated. They just heard, what? She got digged down by August Alsina, oh, like, whatever, and they just ran with it and stuff. The other thing, was Will was doing things, and like people looked it up and stuff and found out that Will was doing the damn thing with other women, supposedly, allegedly. And then I'm just talking about stuff that's out there. Don't sue me. I ain't got no money. Anyway, last but not least, what else? Oh, about Will and the slap. So, when the slap happened, I do not watch the Oscars for the most part. It's extremely rare that I would watch that. Let me wipe my glasses off. It's extremely rare that I would watch the Oscars. So I didn't see it live, and when I heard about it, I kind of cringed because I'm like, I hate stuff like that, honestly. But that being said, I heard about it and I saw little clips and all that. And first off, Chris Rock's jokes were unfunny at the Oscars, in my personal opinion. That's one. And I think Chris Rock is a very talented comedian. I just didn't think that was one of his bright moments, like saying, oh, she's going to make G.I. Jane too. Like, okay, boring. And then to find out Amy Schumer wrote it. She's another one. I don't think she's funny at all. But anyway, as far as how I felt about it, did I think he maybe went too far? Perhaps. But I'll tell you what, I think most women want a man who's a defender, okay, who is protective of us. And if you're not protective of us, then we could just be by ourselves. Okay, a lot of us, I think we feel that way. And I think acknowledging that we feel that way, we're so scared of being thought to be like a drama queen or someone who's trouble, which some women are, don't get me wrong. Some women who they intentionally want someone to fight over them and all that. I'm not talking about that. But I've been in situations in my life where the man I was with just let someone talk to me any kind of way or talk around me any kind of way. Case in point, I had this was many years ago, not mentioning any names, but there was, okay, I was, I don't want to get too specific so you guys know, too much, but I had a boyfriend and we were in a relative's home when a woman came in and she threw around the N-word. And I personally was the only Black person for quite some ways, so I was the only Black person around and nobody did anything. Nobody corrected her or anything. It just like, yeah, N-word this and N-word that and blah, blah, blah. She wasn't talking to me, but she was being disrespectful to me because she kept, and when I say N-word, I mean hard ER. Okay. And she would work it, the way that Quentin Tarantino works the N-word, Nigger, into every movie. Okay. Well, just about, I don't want to say every movie, but for, it's like he's famous for it. Like, she was like the Quentin Tarantino of this small town where she had to work it into every damn story. It could be a story about the Dairy Queen and she'd be like hard NR or hard ER, So, I mean, just whatever. And nobody defended me. And in this case, it would have been nice if he had. And it would have like gone a long way. I'm just saying. I probably said too much. You could probably put two and two together, but I'm just saying. So, yeah. Every woman in general that I know of, like whatever, the whole thing of why do you want a man who's tall? Why do you want a man who's tall? Why do you care? Because we know that height can be intimidating to predators. That if a guy who's up to no good sees you with your tall man, then he may be a little bit less like, even though height, low key has nothing to do with strength. But for some women, because we get intimidated by height, and some men do get intimidated by height as well, to be fair. But even though, again, it doesn't make much sense because what does that have to do with being strong? But, women, generally speaking, want a tall man, sometimes wants a muscular man. Why? Why do you care that he has muscles? A part of it is interconnected to wanting a protector. So long story short, I'm not pro-violence, but I'll put it like this. If someone disrespects me and hurts my feelings, I expect my partner to defend me. And if you don't, then you may not be my partner for too long. Just saying. So anyway, that's my opinion. About Will, I think he's a very intelligent man. I think he's a really good actor. And I enjoy his work. I actually enjoy his work more than Jada's, to be honest with you. As far as like if I were to match them up actor to actor, you know. But I don't know. I think I wish people would leave them alone. So I think that people just ran with the version of the story that made them feel better. And, and I'm not going to lie, like I laughed at the jokes too, because some of them were funny. I didn't watch Chris Rock's concert, but the snippet that I heard that was being sampled on YouTube was actually really funny, where it's like, all these people did this to you and I'm the one that gets slapped or something. I forget what he said, but it was something funny. And I was like, okay, that's funny. Give credit where it's due. He probably didn't write it himself, but it was still kind of funny, whatever. Now, I did think the way that he acted, like the whole, like, oh, I'm not ready to go out in public since I got slapped by a man, was a bit much. It's like, it's a bit much, okay? That's a bit much. He was like so dramatic over it, but the comedy act that he came out with, from what I could tell, was actually pretty funny. So that's my opinion. Let's talk about stealing jokes. Let's talk about what Katt Williams said. Okay, so Katt Williams did a interview with Club Shay Shay, and it was, I didn't watch Club Shay Shay prior to the Kevin, or I called him Kevin, Katt Williams, the Kevin Hart, anyway, no, Katt Williams interview, and of course it was the interview that broke the internet, and no comment on that right now, but it was a good interview, okay? Do I think that it should have gotten quite the attention that it got in comparison to other things? No. But was it a really good interview? Katt Williams, to me, low-key, high-key, is funnier as an interview being himself than he is on stage. That's just me. Not that I haven't seen him do good stuff on stage, but his interviews are so good. I mean, they're just good. I don't know how to explain them, but that should be what you put out on Netflix. Put those damn interviews out on Netflix, because they're really good. But anyway. But about Katt Williams is, so he did the Club Shay Shay. He called out Steve Harvey for stealing jokes. He called out Cedric the Entertainer for stealing jokes. Some people stole the same, we all have the same mind about the Cedric the Entertainer. The joke was that he's an entertainer, not a comic. Like, what I've realized, because I didn't know that I found out about comedy writers several years ago, because I didn't know that that was a thing. I thought, what's his name, Richard Pryor, and all of them came up with their own material. I didn't know that Paul Mooney wrote Richard Pryor's material and so on. I didn't know that that's how that worked, right? Well, why I say that, and so then the comedian, they just go out and, except minus the paper, but, yeah, blah, 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 ha, 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 we all laugh, and it's like, bitch, you didn't even come up with this, like, I didn't know that. There was a great DJ Vlad video with John Witherspoon where he talks about it, and he talks about the comedy writers, and he talked about how he doesn't have comedy writers. So when you think John Witherspoon is funny, it's because John Witherspoon is funny, because he came up with his own stuff, not someone else coming up with it for him, okay? But Kevin Hart, other people, including his ex-wife, wrote that stuff. Chris Rock, other people wrote that stuff. Dave Chappelle, not sure, but I do know that Brennan guy, I forgot his name, that he supposedly wrote some of even Dave Chappelle's stuff. I don't know how much, and whatever, but to me, that's kind of fucked up. I'm just gonna be honest, and I'm like, for Dave Chappelle, I love him. He's my favorite comedian. but that's kind of fucked up. I'm sorry, because if I'm watching you as a comic and I'm calling you a comic genius, are you really a comic genius, or are you just a good actor who knows how to, put through certain, you know how to act out a joke well, but it's not your joke. Somebody else wrote it. I don't know. I think that's kind of fucked up. I'm just going to be honest, okay? For you to get the credit, it's not that you can't repeat someone else's joke, it's that you're getting the credit as being a comedic genius. And that's not an attack on Dave Chappelle specifically. I mean, all the comedians that have other people write their shit, you're getting the accolades when really somebody else came up with that. I've definitely been that person, and obviously the people who write it, they're in on it, they're cool with it, but I've been that person where personally I said something really smart, or told a really good joke or whatever, and then someone stole it from me, whatever it is, somebody else took it. And I'm not like a comedian or anything, I'm just a regular person, but I've had people borrow my shit before, and they might get the Scooby snack pat on the head, and it's like, bitch, that's my stuff. Like, I can understand why that's frustrating, and it's unfair. And what, I don't know if Katt Williams said this or if Abba and Preach said it, but someone had said, sometimes a comedian will do it better than the original. And that's true too. Like, you know what I mean? They don't get more laughs coming from Cedric the Entertainer than what it would have gotten from this unknown comedian. I get it, but that's still fucked up, So I guess in the end, they're all just entertainers, but not really comedians. And we're like giving them too much credit, a lot of them. I also want to add this. He was very nice to D.L. Hughley. And D.L. Hughley, okay, there was recently a post that said, who was your favorite king of comedy? Between Cedric, Steve Harvey, I am so terrible, Bernie Mac, and D.L. Hughley. There you go. I'm sorry, I forgot. I blanked on Bernie's name for a second. And I will tell you, at the time, my favorite was D.L. Hughley. First off, he was cute, okay? He looked like he was the youngest of the bunch. He was cute. Yeah, he definitely had that baby face look about him. He was cute. And I just liked his jokes. Like, his jokes hit with me more than the other comedians. I guess the close second would have been Bernie, okay? But D.L. Hughley had my heart, okay? Then one day, I just happened to see a comedy special with Robin Harris. Now, Robin Harris died, I want to say, when I was a kid. And anyway, and of course, especially if you're Black and over 30, then you probably know the movie Babies, Kids, We Don't Die, We Multiply, which was based on a act by Robin Harris. Well, anyway, I watched one of his he was a very respected comedian. He doesn't even get his flowers. Even though he was respected, he doesn't get his flowers, okay? And I, like he should. And anyway, I had watched one of his comedy acts, and I hear jokes of his or rather jokes that I initially heard from D.L. Hughley come out of Robin Harris's mouth. And I'm like, wait, what? And the joke in question was about the kids taking no-dos, okay, when you're trying to get some, quote unquote, and the kids don't want to go to sleep, okay? So that was the joke. And if you watch Kings of Comedy and you watch the old Robin Harris, then you'll see what I'm talking about. He stole the joke. And when I realized, because I used to think D.L. Hughley, he was one of my favorite comedians, like many years ago, he was one of my favorite comedians, from the Kings of Comedy on. And when I realized he stole that joke years later, I was just so I'm like, seriously? And it just turned me off so bad, and it made me look at him differently. So, but I noticed, Katt was like, oh, no DL slander. And I'm like, your boy steals jokes. He literally stole a joke off a dead man. I mean, how fucking low do you have to be that you stole a dead man's joke? You don't need to tell a dead man's joke. I'm not trying to be funny. You could have kept that to your whole self and, you know, just said, oh, Robin Harris is one of my inspirations or something, but you don't take his material. I thought that was real shitty. So, you know, anyway, that's my opinion about that. I do think a lot of people get over. Another person I'm going to say, I don't think that Seinfeld is very funny. Not the show. The show is brilliant. The show is really good up until Larry David left. When Larry David left, it wasn't so good anymore. True story. But previous to Larry David leaving, Seinfeld was a wonderful show for the most part. They had a few stinker episodes like any other show, but overwhelmingly, it was a really good show. That being said, Jerry Seinfeld is not very funny. I said it. You know, get mad at me if you want to. Dude, it's not very funny. He's not. I like coming off of Seinfeld. I'm watching his like specials and stuff, and I'm like, oh, Jerry Seinfeld, because I used to even love the introduction and outro clips of him on stage, and so I'm thinking, oh, this guy is so funny. He's the funniest. Not at all. Not at all. He was somebody who he had a really great writer in Larry David, because I think Larry David was the writer, whatever. He had a really good guy in Larry David, and he had a great ensemble cast. Whatever you think of Michael Richards, you know, it was a great cast and everything, you know, and he was the straight guy. He's the comedian straight guy on his own show. You know, and I mean, not that he wasn't funny on the show, because he was, but off the show, his comedy act is just not very funny. Low key, high key. He's like one of the luckiest bastards out there, honestly, in my opinion. I say bastards loosely, but you know what I mean. He's a lucky dude, but I just don't think he's very talented. True story. So anyway, these are like some of my opinions on celebrities. Okay. So we're going to shift gears. Let's talk about Halle Bailey. Okay. So, little Halle, not the Little Mermaid, not the Little Mermaid. We're talking about Halle Bailey. Okay. So, I think Halle Bailey is a very beautiful young woman and very talented. I loved her in The Little Mermaid. On the podcast that I was a part of, we talked about it, and I felt like it was a very relevant conversation because, you know, we talked about it, we made a big deal about it. There were a lot of racist people online who were foaming at the mouth, pulling out their hair. And sidebar, not all of them were white racist people. That's the presumption, like, oh, all these white power racist people. There were people of all different races, not very many black, but all different races who were anti a Black Little Mermaid. As I stated on the podcast, you know, she's a mythical creature. She could have been any color. Disney happened to make her a white girl with blue eyes and red hair. She didn't have to have those features. That's just the direction that Disney chose to go in. Disney's adaptation of the story is very different from the original story, blah, blah, blah. Okay, done. So anyway, I was super supportive of Halle, and I think she did a wonderful job. Going back to the movie, just to say this, and I had said this on the podcast, but it was a podcast that didn't get a ton of downloads. So more likely than not, this is the first time you hear me expressing this opinion. I did feel that them making Prince Eric's mom into a Black woman was going too far. And when I say going too far, I mean, if the point is not that you intentionally made a Black Little Mermaid, but incidentally made a Black Little Mermaid, which is how the people were selling it, that we weren't trying to make a Black Little Mermaid. She was just the best woman for the job. I mean, we would have had any kind of Little Mermaid. We just wanted whoever was best. We didn't, whatever. Okay, I'm with you. Okay, and I defended that up until I saw the Black mom for Eric. I'm like, first off, did he even have a mom? Because I thought he had a dad, but not a mom. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look at the cartoon. When I was a child, sidebar, The Little Mermaid was my favorite. I loved Ariel. Part of Your World was, oh my God, that was like my song, okay? So, whatever. Okay. But that being, I still know all the words. Okay. So anyway, under the sea. Anyway, but yeah, so like I have an emotional connection to the cartoon, and anyway, who I thought they should have cast as the mom would have been the original Little Mermaid. What is her name? Amy Benson, I think. I'm not sure what her name is, so forgive me if I got her name wrong. But she would have, instead of having her as one of the townsfolk, like they did, one of the merchants or something, they should have had her play Eric's mom, and not have the Black woman do it. Again, the reason why is because to me, it kind of cheapened it and made it look like you did this to be inclusive and not like an affirmative action hire, not because you genuinely believed that these were the best people for the job, if that makes any sense. I could be wrong. Again, I'm just saying the optics of it. So that's my opinion. But anyway, back to Halle. So what happened with Halle? So Halle has this boyfriend. I think his name is DDG or something. I wasn't familiar with him except in connection to her. But apparently he's a successful rapper that is popular on YouTube or something. Anyway, she got pregnant and she did everything in her power to hide her pregnancy. Meanwhile, the public we're starting to be like, we ain't seen her in anything showing her body in a while. And you're playing the Little Mermaid where you're literally wearing like a bra and a fishtail or something, and your abs are showing and everything. You got this little tiny petite body, and all of a sudden we don't see your body anymore. And it's like, you're wearing sweats, it just, so we started to kind of put two and two together as a public. And, also I'm sure people in their camp probably put it out too. Long story short, she was pregnant and she was hiding it. And I don't know if she officially denied it, but she did everything but let the words come out of her mouth that she was officially denying it. It was weird. And Chloe Bailey started flipping out. I didn't really see, I could be wrong. Maybe she was responding to hate towards Halle, but I didn't really see anybody being hateful towards Halle. People were just like, is she pregnant? And if she is pregnant, why is she not acknowledging it? And why does she work so hard to hide it? I didn't see a lot of hate though. And Chloe supposedly went off and keep my sister's name out of your mouth or something like that, whatever, but with a lot of profanity, allegedly. That's as I understand it. And Funky Dineva at some point got involved because he commented, and I love Funky Dineva, but he had commented where he was insulting Chloe. And I remember some people got in their feelings about that as well. It was just a big old mess. And then turns out, long story short, Halle was pregnant and she has a beautiful baby boy, and congratulations to her and DDG. And what was the whole point? That was just wild. Girl. And then it was I'm protecting my peace. And it was okay. And what I think it really was is that, as far as we all know, she's not married. If she did get married, that could endanger her career a little bit, because people want the women in Hollywood to be single, ready to mingle, and the idea that, oh, she might be hooking up with her co-star. Look, they look in love, they've got chemistry. But if she's going home to this other guy, then that kind of ruins it. Honestly, the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, what made that movie so electric was that everybody and their mother knew that they were building a connection. That's the nicest way to put it. Probably bumping uglies behind the scenes, but certainly the connection and the attraction between them. Both of these people were exceptionally attractive, but then also like we're watching them. Like I remember Angelina Jolie said one of the meanest things that I'm like, you're such an awful person. I don't like her anymore. She used to be one of my favorite actresses. I'm not a fan of hers anymore. But about that, Angelina Jolie said one of the meanest things. She said something like, yeah, this movie will serve, and if I'm wrong, forgive me. This is as I heard it at the time, but something like, this movie will show mommy and daddy falling in love or something like that, like, you know, to their kid or whatever. Like we could show this to our children of like mommy and daddy falling in love with each other or something fucked up like that. And I'm just like, you know, because he was married to Jennifer Aniston at the time. And I'm very embarrassed to say I was one of the people where I'm like, dump Jen and get with Angelina, because I loved Angelina Jolie so much. And, you know, being caught up in superficiality of her being so beautiful and all this kind of stuff. Terrible. I know that where are my morals? They don't exist. Or not literally, but at that time, I'm just like, you know, I don't know what I was thinking. We all do dumb things. Not that that affected their relationship, like they would have not dated whether or not I gave my support. It's just sad that I was supportive of them getting together, like many other people, despite the fact that this man was married, you know? So anyway, I guess that's enough celebrity gossip for the moment that I can think of. If you guys have anything that you want to add or anything you want me to cover, then please comment. With all my videos, please like, comment, subscribe, all that. You're welcome to share if you care. I won't tell you to share. It's up to you, whatever, but you know, you're welcome to, whatever. I'm kind of shy. Like I'm trying to break out of my box right now. Recently, I watched an anime. I'm not going to tell you guys which one it is because I don't want to ruin it, but there was a character on the anime where there was a girl who had very low self-esteem. And in the end, what was blocking her was her. It wasn't the other people, it was her and how she felt about herself. And she had to make peace with herself. And it was like such a beautiful moment. And that is me. I'm someone who most of my life I've suffered with feeling like I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm too fat, I have all these flaws, whatever. And thanks to seeing women who are like me that make content for one, but also just growing up and realizing like one of my favorite lines that I've heard in recent years is life is not an audition. You have to live your life. This is it. One take. You got to live your life. You know, you can, like, I guess you can say, do things better, wake up and do things better tomorrow and all that stuff. Yes, but at the same time, you can't just take life for granted and think like, you know, that you have unlimited time, because sadly you do not. If you're serious about something in your life, you got to work, like you got to go to work on it. Or if you're not going to go work on it right away, you have to have some kind of plan, or at least that's my opinion. You do what you want. I'm just telling you my opinion based off of my life experience. I was recently having a conversation, I believe, with my mom, okay, about there's a creator who passed away. Her name was Weight Watcher Girl. Weight Watcher Girl 1. If you're in the weight loss community, maybe you know of her. I loved her content so much. She was so awesome. I saw that she passed away. And it was, as I understand it, after surgery, some kind of complication, she passed away. Very, very, very heartbreaking. I don't know what it was. I would be curious to know, but I don't think I ever will, you know, because I'm sure her family's going to be private about it, understandably so. My heart goes out to her loved ones, especially her children, and but really all of them, you know. And about that is she did this wonderful video, and that video really sticks out in my mind, considering what happened to her. But it was a video I thought about anyway, which is where she said that she would avoid taking pictures, that she would sometimes even cut herself out of pictures, if I'm not much mistaken, because she didn't like how she looked. That she was over 300 pounds and she didn't like how she looked, so she would do all that. And um, I've been that person too, where I've hidden from a camera. I didn't want to be seen because I didn't like how I looked. I feel like if I take a picture of myself, like, then it's not so bad. But if somebody else tries to take a picture of me, I end up like looking like Jabba the Hutt or something, whatever. It just ends up looking really awful. Most of the time. Sometimes people will take a decent picture of me, but in general, I just feel like the pictures come out looking shitty. Anyway, I understood what she was saying because I've been there too. But the thing is, nobody cares in the grand scheme of things. They just know, where are you? And especially when people lose you, whenever they lose you, they're going to wish that they had more pictures of you to look at. So, even talking about it, it gives me chills. But yeah, take the picture. And if you don't like what you see, then actively work on it. But take the picture. When I gave birth to my daughter, I, in my opinion, looked very unattractive. I'm just going to say it. Like, I look at other women who have given birth and they are so beautiful, and I feel like I looked so incredibly unattractive. That being said, I did not want my partner to take any pictures of me. I'm grateful he did. And the way I look at it now is like, hell, those would be my before pictures. It's cool. They'll be my before pictures, but I'm glad that I have whatever pictures I have, thank you. So anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, tell me what you want me to talk about. I'm going to do my best to speak candidly. And that's it. Take care. Bye.